The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sherapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered 12. I covered.
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, boys and girls? Happy Monday. Welcome into a post-NFC AFC Championship edition of the Bostonian versus the book. Dave Sherapan, Matt Perrault, our guy Jeffrey Benson. He'll be here momentarily.
Yes.
We'll get him to break down everything happening at Circa and the weekend and the 2 weeks as we head towards the first ever Super Bowl here in Las Vegas. Live on YouTube, live on Twitter, replayed on SiriusXM, channel 159, and on Sports Grid Television. How are you, sir? A little blue and red we got going on here, so it works.
Figured you'd be in the red, so I figured I had to offset something. I figured you'd be in Kansas City stuff, because they beat the Chiefs. We got JC
Ravens
from KC is here in the chat. Everyone is here in the chat waiting to come at you.
For what?
A metaphor for the Chiefs.
I bet the Chiefs yesterday.
Only because you had the Ravens on the other side.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The idea is to make money, right?
Make money. That's ideally, that is the best.
I made money
every single time. But
I bet 4 units on the Chiefs yesterday.
Yep.
So
that was good.
We made money yesterday.
We got enough red. So San Francisco red, Chiefs red. We're going to be painted in red. All the purple, sad. Ravens. Talk to Kevin from Circa as well. We're going to have Benson on, but all those people that had the Ravens, money line, tease down, tough one. That's a tough one to get over. And then Lions, I will get into it. I just, which loss is worse?
I've been thinking about this for a bit. I think the Lions loss is way worse. I don't want that to be the truth. Like I don't want that to be true. I just don't know how it's not when you're up 24-7 at the break. Like you've got
30 minutes away, worse than being the 1 seed, best record, home game, everything going for you. You got the nice, kind of murky weather. It's tough. It's a pick 'em. I don't know which is worse. That might be our first question for the chat, for the group. Which loss is worse? I mean, we got a lot of, I feel bad. Daniel G. There's LL. Lions lost way worse. Maybe because they were winning. The Ravens were never winning. They were never winning.
It's funny when the Red Sox, I wore the Red Sox thing because the analogy I'm going to make is the 2018 Red Sox to the Chiefs this year.
Hold on. We're gonna you work the Red Sox into the analogy for the Super Bowl week?
because the Red Sox.
Hold on.
Because the Red Sox in 2018 won the World Series and they weren't a very good baseball team. Like they just found their way they just won games. Like they weren't an all-time great baseball team. They were good defensively. They had really good starting pitching. They had a good bullpen, but their offense was kind of but they just did the right things. They had the right moments. They did the right things to win it all. And I kept on looking at the Chief team. I was like, this is the 2018 Red Sox. It's like the Chiefs forced turnover, so they absolutely deserve credit, but they did not score a point in the second half.
Didn't have to.
Well, in most championship games, you have to. They've scored 14 points in the postseason in the last 2 games in the second half, both against Buffalo, and they're in the Super Bowl.
Good
now,
defense.
100%. But if Zay Flowers doesn't do the taunting, and if Zay Flowers doesn't extend the football, and if Lamar does, there's a lot of ifs that go into this. It was 3-0. Good teams win the turnover battle. Chiefs, good team. No debating it. But like, this is not like an all-time great Chiefs team. Like, we're not going to talk about this team, after if they do win or lose, this Chiefs team is not going to be talked about all that much.
If they win, they're a dynasty. They're going to be talked about forever.
No, not this team though. The Chief team will be called, but not the 2024 Chiefs. No, it's like the 2003 Patriots. Like, the Patriots were a dynasty, but no one talks about the 03 Patriots team. It's like they beat Carolina. Ooh, they won the Super Bowl, but like, no one talks about that team. They talk about the 04 team more than they talk about the 03 team for the Patriots. So it's about the franchise. They win, they're a dynasty. Absolutely. I mean, they're the first team to go back-to-back in 20 years. They'll have 3 championships in 6 years. It doesn't fit into my 3 and 4, but back-to-back means, yeah, especially if you won one previously. So yes, they're a dynasty, but they lose. They're 2-2 over the last 6 years.
Which is still really damn good and a dynasty.
No, not a dynasty. No, you have to win. Chiefs have to, for me to call them a dynasty, they got to win. They lose, and they're the Bills, they're the Ravens. I mean, you won, got to win it all.
Farrell just came in the chat. This is what I was thinking. This is why I'm reading it. The Ravens with perspective should be disappointed in the season. The Lions with perspective should be happy with the season. The Ravens lost worse. That's where I'm at with it. Can you put a poll up before Benson gets in here?
Hold on.
Which loss is worse, in your opinion? And again, it's just an opinion, and that's what we're giving here on the show. The Ravens one is tough to stomach because they had everything
there.
They earned that position to be the home team and the number 1 seed in the championship game.
Right. You play all year for that, right?
And I mean, the Chiefs went on the road back-to-back weeks.
Yep.
Beat Buffalo.
Yep.
Beat Baltimore. Nobody's going to talk about them if they lose. I don't know. I think you're going to be talking about them for a while. They have the best player on the field. Mahomes started the game with a record number of completions. They had a 9-minute drive.
Do you know whose record he broke?
Let me guess. Tom Brady?
Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon?
All right. So before you jump up and down about that record, he broke Rich Gannon's record. Whoop-de-doo. Like, it's not okay. Like, I'm not overly like gonna fall over myself because of that record.
Completions in a row.
Did you see his chart path? We'll get to the Matt Chatham tweet here in a second, which is hysterical, which is really accurate and really interesting. Mahomes had like 5 passes beyond 20 yards the whole game. He dinked and dunked his way to the victory. I mean, he played within the system.
It worked for Tom Brady.
No debating it. Absolutely. But like the reaction is of the Ryan Clarks of the world who are falling over themselves saying, this is the greatest quarterback to ever do it. I've never seen anything like this in my life. What the hell are you talking about? We've seen, I mean, you could make a case that Brock Purdy was better than Mahomes on Sunday.
Did you put that poll up in the chat?
Yeah, it's up now.
I missed it. I don't see it.
It's post. Oh, posted. It's getting voted on right now.
Is it?
Yeah, you just don't see it for whatever reason. It's there. 55% are on the Lions so far. As being the worst. Being the worst.
Oh, there it is. I hit that button. There's a button at the top now.
Oh, you have to to see it? You have to hit a button?
Well, it's next to I hit something next to the messages. There it is.
Oh,
so
okay.
Popped up.
Yep, it's there.
Overall, though, did the games live up to the billing?
Yes. Yeah. Both games are great.
Different type of games, obviously.
Right.
But I was pretty happy as a football fan first and someone in the gambling space second.
It sucks, though. I mean, it does suck that there are, I mean, I guess not in the Lions. I mean, Dan Campbell, I guess, is playing the GOAT, the bad version of the GOAT for the Lions. But Zay Flowers is going to have a really hard offseason. Like, he's both rookies, both Jahmyr Gibbs and Zay Flowers. You see why coaches hate rookies. They both had monumental, game-changing mistakes in the second half that arguably cost their team the game.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it and narrow it down to one play here, one play there, yeah, maybe. But
well, I mean, a fumble inside the 30-yard line by Gibbs and it went the wrong way on the handoff, so that was really bad. When that kept the waterfall going for the Niners in the third quarter, and then you're Zay Flowers and you get a taunting penalty, it backs you up. And then to make up for the taunting penalty, you try to dive into the end zone and Snead punches the ball out because you extended it and didn't hold on to it. Unbelievable play.
Great play.
Don't need to extend the ball. You don't need to do that. That's the mistake. Like, you have to make sure you get there, and the ball is the most important thing. You cannot turn the football over there. Just go down at the 2-yard line. And he dove, ball got punched out. Awesome play. But you can't let the defense have a chance to do that. Like, you just can't expose the football like that. And that's what happened. So Zay Flowers is not only the taunting penalty, which was, I mean, I didn't like it. I get it. It's letter of the law. I get it. But it's the NFC, AFC championship weekend. Like, what are we doing? Like, the referees were very selective in what they were going to call and when they chose to call it. I mean, the Van Noy unsportsmanlike or unnecessary roughness on Kelsey was the stupidest call of the weekend. Like, they had some really, that crew did not have a good day. Like, on both sides, that crew did not have a good day.
Yeah, the taunting penalty was that one. The Van Noy one was a bit much. But listen, they didn't run the ball. All they did earlier in the season was run the ball, and they didn't run the ball. Like, there's a lot of question marks there.
Monken panicked. I mean, Todd Monken arguably he got nervous because the Chiefs defense did a really good job of stopping them on first down.
Right.
Running the football. And instead of going back to it and setting up, 2nd and 9 to 3rd and 7, they threw the ball on 2nd down and were in 3rd and 7 anyway. And it had, both those passing attacks. I found, like, why is everyone throwing the ball, sideline to sideline? Nobody wanted to throw the ball vertically in that game. It was weird until the end when they threw the ball to MVS, the shot to ice the game at the end.
Deuce Daly just came in the chat, said Ravens got bullied from opening warmups and didn't know how to react. I don't know about that.
I don't agree with that at all. No,
I think the Chiefs went down and scored on opening drive.
Yep.
The Ravens did not answer. Starts to just, the mindset's different there, right? Like,
no, the Ravens were 3 and out first, then they punted, and then the Chiefs went 3 and went down and scored, and then it was 3 and out again. So it was the Chiefs established in the beginning. They definitely established, like, this is going to be a defensive minded game. This is we're gonna take the ball, we're gonna defer, whole Patriots thing, defer, try to double dip after halftime, but before halftime and after halftime. The thing that struck me the most was I felt like Lamar Jackson was uncomfortable the entire game. And it wasn't just because of pressure. Pressure was there.
Right.
Even when he was untouched, he was rushed. His throws were rushed. He didn't know when to run, when not to run. Like, he just didn't look confident on the field, which is unlike Lamar. But he's 1-4 at home in the playoffs now. Like, this is not a small sample size. This is 5 home playoff games. Lamar has won 1, and the one he won, they had to rally.
Yeah.
They were down to the Texans. So, like, I just find it really interesting. Like, the playoffs is such a different beast, and you really do get to see how people handle that level of pressure and intensity. And I'm not saying I would do any better, but it is clear that the Ravens are a different team in the playoffs, and Lamar Jackson
Did you email Jeff, by the way?
Oh, interesting. I thought I did. Hold on.
He said he doesn't have an email.
Okay, hold on. Let me go and figure that. I thought I sent him an email. Yeah, wait, I did. I gotta do it again. To get him in here. All
right.
I'll do it right now.
Well,
okay, that's sent.
They're voting, and again, it's hard to. I don't know if one has to be worse than the other. I think it's just an opinion.
Losses suck. Either way,
it's
losses,
tough.
It's no good loss.
Different style of games. It was a totally defensive game where one mistake or 2 mistakes change the game, the outcome of the game. And their 8 rush attempts by anyone not named Lamar was a poor game plan.
Especially when you have 2 good backs, Hill.
Right. They had success with the first couple runs that they had. So
that's why I think Monken got down and Monken panicked. I think Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, who has a lot of latitude to call the plays, brought in from Georgia, I felt like once they went down, he went, oh no, this defense is really hard to score against. Yeah. We got to go. And it was like, throw. And you're asking a guy who is a decent passer of the football. He's much better than what he was. He's improved a ton to read defenses. At 26, he's in full command. He's going to be a 2-time MVP here in a week. But like, there are concerns, and I agree with John. Anytime you want Lamar to throw 39 times, it's a problem.
Yeah, but like it's so strange because it wasn't 24-0. Like
Correct.
that's when you have to
Yes.
abandon everything you do. You're
Yes.
down 3 scores or more, and all right, look, we got to line up and pass every play. We got to run, hurry up. We got to,
Right.
It was 10-0, I think, right? It was 7-0. Then I believe it was they tied it 7-7, and then
Yes, right. Yes, it was then. It was 7. It was 17. 10, it was 17
7
to
forever.
17, yeah, 17.
It was 7-7 at one point.
Yeah, it was 17-7 at break at the break, and they came out. Chief got the football, 3 and out, punt. Chiefs didn't score in the second half. They didn't score.
Jay Dow, our guy, was there. Mrs. J. Dow KD did not get to go to the game, but he just came in and said the Ravens put quote unquote Super Bowl bound newspapers in the suite pregame. I blame whoever came up with their idea.
That was not wise.
I don't want to say that the Ravens underestimated the Chiefs, but like the fans, everybody was, there was a lot of like just push them forward. They're the better team. They're this, they're that, whatever. And it was like, whoa, KC earned that. Their defense,
100%, 3 points,
tremendous.
3 points, 3 turnovers.
You go to the other game. What the hell was that? The Lions played a perfect first half.
It did. And then Dan Campbell got cute.
What the hell was that?
Hold that thought. We'll get into all that breakdown because I have a lot to say on the Dan Campbell thing, but let's get Benson up here and on the show.
My man is here.
I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, let's see how this is going to work.
What's up, gentlemen?
Joining us from Circus Sports is the one and only
Hello,
Jeffrey
Jeff.
Benson. Let me see how.
See if you can get that fancy picture of him. Perfect.
Well, then that's the only picture of him.
Oh,
see, that's
okay.
that's the.
So we go back and forth between that and then us.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure
it up. All right. Well, that's Jeff Benson. His mouth will not move, but he looks great. He really let the hair go back then. He's keeping it a little tighter now for those of you. But Jeffrey, it's good to hear you. We can't see you, which is your choice, not ours. We'd love to see you.
Late night at the office.
I believe it.
Early morning, busy weekend, gentlemen.
That's all good. I can imagine.
Listen, you sent out the SOS. You told
Which one?
People the first game. We're going to talk about the first game first.
There was a lot of SOSs this weekend, gentlemen.
I know. Well, let's talk about the first one. Chiefs, Ravens. Ravens go to 5. I'm getting texts and DMs from people all over the world. What the hell is going on at Circa? Why are they at 5? No one else is. Can you explain that to people that are watching and listening to the show right now, please?
Well, first, before we get into that, some may call me a lying, cheating son of a bitch. So,
yes.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. When you look at
right.
when you look at the DB screen, and we were the only place at 4.5 for days.
Yes.
And then we were the first to go to 5.
Yes.
That should tell you all you need to know. Not necessarily about what we make the game, but the action that we've taken and the position that we're in. So for people to say, that we are lying, that we don't need the Chiefs, this, that, and the other, was certainly, an interesting stance to be taken. So, when you go off market like that,
Jeff.
yeah.
Did Goodell call you or not? Because everybody thinks that he has a bat phone right to your desk where he calls, he gives you the script, and you just move the numbers and just like, he didn't call you yesterday, did he?
He may have. I'm a little inexperienced. I don't have as much experience as you, Dave. So, still doing some things to pull the puppet strings.
What type of liability in the futures market did you guys have on the Ravens? Did that influence the 5 at all?
Absolutely. I mean, we had 7 figures worth of liability, 7 figures plus. You when you go into this game, you're looking to write, Ravens money so that you can mitigate some of that futures liability. And early and often it was Ravens at 3 juiced, it was Ravens at 3.5, it was Ravens at 4, and that continued to push the number up. And then ultimately day of, we got a lot of KC money, and we were happy to write it.
So the total was another point of discussion. Under's usually pretty good for the book, is it not?
Absolutely. When you look at where the screen opened last Sunday, there were some openers in the Raven game around 50. I believe one prominent offshore shop opened 50. We opened the lowest total in the world, and what do you know? They came right to our number.
Huh. So
Funny how that works.
So we go to the afternoon game, and the Niners. What was halftime like for you guys, and how much Niner money did you guys take at halftime with them down by 17 points going into a really uncertain second half?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about shops like MGM, where everybody but Tom Brady is allowed to play.
Yep.
And then you think about shops like us where Mr. Brady's welcome with open arms. It's a little bit different in terms of the bets that you see. So, we saw plenty of Lions money at halftime. Whereas I think a lot of other shops, it was every in game was probably Niner money. Every halftime bet was Niner money. You definitely get a little bit more two-way when you open your doors to sharps as well. So for us, it wasn't like, an avalanche of Niner money once they went down. We still saw some two-way, but we desperately needed the Lions to get in the back door once the Niners went up 10. I think Mr. Stevens' plane ride home from the game would have been even worse than what it was. So to see Goff and the boys go down 7, had they kicked the field goal, 7 would have been worse than 10.
Yep.
Given where we wrote bets all week. So for us, we desperately needed Niners by 1-6, and fortunately they were able to get in the back door there after just choking away what was a masterful first half.
Yes, and we had talked about that when you watched the show back. We asked the audience what was worse, whether it was the Ravens or the Lions, and the votes so far have been on the Lions. So basically, overall, sum up the day: Chiefs very good, under good. The back door is always good. And again, you guys in the chat, get your mind out of the gutter. The back door cover, always good. The total, you got crushed on the over in the Niners and Lions game, right? That was the only loss of those 4. Am I correct in that assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously the day yesterday was pretty good. Certainly, obviously, we were trying to kill off that Ravens liability for both the conference and the Super Bowl. So good result there. And, the best thing is that we go into, a Super Bowl, which you've been a part of many of them, Dave.
Yes.
And, you've got a future result where you win to both teams. So
beautiful.
Certainly a nice starting point. We definitely win, quite a bit more to the 49ers than what we do to the Chiefs.
Yep.
But certainly it's nice to be in the black when you look at both of those teams from a future result. And now we can kind of figure out where we want to position ourselves as we head into the Super Bowl here with 2 weeks to go.
Jeff, so you guys opened, I believe you were at 2.5 or 2 when you guys opened for the Niners. Money came instantly on Kansas City. We're down to 1.5 in most books across the country here. Where do you think this thing will wind up at kick? If it flips and the Chiefs are a favorite, will you see Niner money come in and drive it back to being a Niner favorite, or could KC go off as a favorite?
Yeah, I mean, for us, obviously, we opened 2.5. on San Fran and 48 on the total and my 138 on the money line. It's been KC money early and often. Definitely seen a little bit of stances taken in terms of, taking the points. And then we saw a little bit of money once we got down to 1. We're still at 1 now, but total ticked down a little bit. Obviously, Kansas City has a great defense. The Niners looked like they could be run all over. So, I wonder if this total ticks back up, once the public gets involved, maybe a little bit more. I think the sharps are going to back the under. Obviously, the public's going to back the over on everything. In terms of the side, it's Dave can talk about it, but when you think about the Super Bowl, you're certainly going to get a reduced price on the dog in terms of the money line. So I would, based on what we've seen so far, it seems like it's trending towards Pick'em.
Yep.
I think obviously, the Mahomes has been there before. Andy Reid. Yeah, I mean, you just have such the experience factor with Kansas City, and he's the greatest of all time. So it should be interesting to see how it plays out.
Jeff, he's not the greatest of all time. This show's called Bostonian versus the Book, and
he's the greatest of all time.
Upset.
I just got off arguing Twitter with somebody. I told him he doesn't know ball because he said Mahomes was mediocre in the game versus the Ravens, but
he was.
Anyway.
He was. He had 5 passes beyond the 20 yards, Jeff. He threw and dinked and dunked his way to a victory.
13% completion over expected, 9.9 EPA.
Oh, numbers.
Yeah, and he scored 0 points in the second half.
That point is fair, but
I mean, he scored 14 points in 2 games in the second half and 2 playoff games on the road. Like, I'm not going to be amazed by that.
He's coming to Vegas for the Super Bowl. Stop besmirching Mahomes.
I'm just saying we're not calling a guy with 2 rings over a guy who has 7, the greatest quarterback of all time.
This is the problem. See, this is the problem.
2-7.
Tom Brady is not allowed to bet at BetMGM, but Tom Brady is the GOAT according to this show, Jeffrey. So be careful when you start throwing around the GOAT and it's not Tom Brady behind it. That's another issue. All right, so Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, but to get back to your initial question, I think when you look at the screen, obviously this number's come down from the open. It's trending towards Pick'em. There will definitely be a buy point at some point for the 49ers. Yes. Whether that's at 1 and it pushes the number back closer to what the opener is, or whether you see that at Pick'em. I can't imagine any world in which the Chiefs go off favored, but
wow.
I mean, I could be wrong. I just think based upon the look ahead lines, which had a decent amount of liquidity and San Fran closed in the 2.5 neighborhood. I just think for this to, I mean, obviously these aren't as important points as say going from, 2 to 4 or 6 to 8, but I would be very surprised if Kansas City was the favorite here. I think the low point would be Pick'em.
All of the Chief fans relax. The Chiefs are not going to be favored. If they are favored, it will last for minutes, not even an hour will last, and the money will come on the
so
Niners.
Interesting.
So it will go back and forth. Jeff, 10 years ago, the Super Bowl was in New Orleans. It had the Ravens and the Niners. The lights went out just like they did on that CBS set at halftime, and then they turned the lights on. The Niners ended up losing to the Ravens. The NFC representative lost to the AFC representative. A lot of people are mentioning that game. I'll mention this one. It was only, I believe, in 2020.
Yep.
And you were at Circa. I was at CG. We had the same exact matchup, Niners-Chiefs. The line bounced back and forth. The mattress guy flew into town and shopped around trying to get bets down and all that stuff. Do we have fatigue from this matchup, or are we good? Like, because we're hosting the game. People have been coming to Vegas since the beginning of time for the Super Bowl, and we're going to get to what you guys are doing at Circa for the people and, anyone that's coming to town. But we got the game here. Is it, would you rather have seen someone else in the matchup, or are you good with the matchup?
I mean, personally, this was the best result for me, but outside of that fact, I think it's the best result in terms. I don't think there's going to be fatigue. I think you can't go wrong with Kansas City or Baltimore. I think, the Niners are a bigger draw than obviously Detroit. Mahomes on the grand stage versus, Purdy and all the offensive weapons San Francisco has, a rematch from, 4 years ago. Taylor Swift, whatever you think of her. I mean, there's just going to be a number of different great storylines here. So I don't think there'll be any fatigue. I think it'll be a heavily, heavily bet game.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of injury concerns. So that'll be definitely good from a prop perspective and things like that. So I don't think you could go wrong. I think it's a fantastic Super Bowl, and I think we're going to write the hell out of it. So certainly
I agree.
excited, and obviously it's here in Vegas at Allegiant. So certainly interested to see.
You got tickets?
I'll talk to the boss, see
Okay.
if he's in a giving mood, but yeah, I mean, it'll be
drive.
Interesting. Thank you. Appreciate that. I was going to offer up the Circa limo, but if you're going to be so kind and gracious, we'll
Caravan's better.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, obviously being in Vegas for the first time and seeing fans travel and all of that stuff. So certainly excited.
What do you guys have? And say everything, but like people are going to be coming in. We got California people, Arizona people. People are driving in. They're going to want to fly in. They're going to go on. Obviously, Circa's a place that you want to go to and check out if you haven't seen it for the first time. What will you guys have going on either during the week, weekend of, or game day of? What's going on at Circa?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, game day is going to be as insane as possible. I would say. If you have a host, reach out to your host about any of the Super Bowl parties we're going to be having, in any of our ballrooms. Get here early and often to get a spot at any of our bars. And then if you want to watch the game in the sports book or Stadium Swim, the world's largest pool amphitheater, go onto our circasports.com website, click on the reservation button, and kind of peruse through the different options as it relates to seating for the Super Bowl. I think showing up day of, you may put you in a little bit of a precarious situation. So I'd do it. Yeah, I'd spend the next 2 weeks getting ready in terms of having a dedicated seat and making sure you got somewhere to watch the game.
I got to ask you, this is the last one for me before we let you go. Who do you like in the game? I mean, it's early, but
very
your
early
first thought, because everyone texts, do you get the same texts and stuff that I get? Like people ask Dave, who do you like? Dave, who do you like? Like Sunday morning, you get the text. So I got to ask you, put you on the spot a little, but I'm not holding you to anything. And we will see each other multiple times because people think that I work for Circa because I bring them down, meet them there, hang out. We do 8 East all the time for lunch, but they ask me, so I'm going to ask you, who do you like in the game?
I had a San Francisco to defeat Kansas City exacta.
Yes, sir.
I basically split it right down the middle and took Kansas City money line. So to me, the game is as pick'em as games can be pick'em. Yes. I think when you look at San Francisco, I would have thought that they would have been a bigger favorite versus Kansas City. But when you look at their 2 playoff games in relation to the 2 playoff games for Kansas City, obviously Mahomes went on the road. That defense has been fantastic. He beats Josh Allen in Buffalo. He beats Lamar in Baltimore. And then you look across the way at Brock Purdy and how the Niners have fared. They very well could have lost to Green Bay, and they very well could have lost to the Lions. They got ran over on defense, but they were resilient and came back and played well enough in the second half, in both games to get it done. So I think San Fran's looked a little bit shakier than what I would have thought coming into the playoffs, and obviously Mahomes and the Chiefs have played well. So this is as coin flip of a game as possibly can be. I think you're probably for the listener, if they want to, look to find some value, as props start to open up over the next 2, 3, 4 days.
Oh yeah.
And get bet into place. If you like some overs early that you think are going to move, betting a lot of those. And then if you want to take some unders, from the star players and things like that, wait until.
When are the sheets going to be done, Jeffrey?
Yeah,
Before
they go, or the schedule. What's the schedule for release for you guys? I know you have a busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday where different markets will open, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before I get into the schedule, don't ask about Taylor Swift props. I know they're cute. I know they're fun. We can't post them. Would we love to post them? Yes. Gaming doesn't approve of it. So don't ask. We're not hanging the national anthem. We're not hanging the Gatorade props. Consult your local unregulated sports book. Anyway, moving forward, today we're putting up all the derivatives, first quarter, first half, alt spreads, team totals, things like that. We will also be hanging the circa squares. Tuesday, we will have first touchdown scorer and MVP. And then we'll really get in the lab Wednesday, Thursday, and come Friday, we will hang all the two-sided props. McCaffrey over under, Purdy over under, anything Mahomes, Pacheco, all of that kind of stuff. That'll be hung on Friday, and then Saturday we will put up index props, exact score, Mahomes, exact touchdown passes, things of that nature. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. I put up a tweet asking for prop suggestions. So if any listeners want to go,
I gave you one.
Good. I will. I'll go look. I'll bookmark it and then make sure to put it in one big document and share with our team.
I think I'm going to send you one. Me and Matt are going to talk about it later after the show or whatever tonight, but we're going to send you one for like a BVB prop. We're going to try.
Because gaming would love that. Yeah, because gaming. Because Jeff, I mean, everyone's asking this question, like, why is it unregulated? Gaming will only allow you guys to book bets on in-play, on the field activity, right?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, the best way to think about it is, you don't want to hang things that are ambiguous and are hard to grade.
That's the
if two things of Gatorade are poured on the coach, which color is it? Who is grading how long the national anthem goes in terms of the length of time. So for us, in the position that gaming's taken, at least in the 4 states that we operate, and generally speaking within the regulated market, they want to see things that can be determined on the field of play, and then additionally can be scored or referenced within the box score. So that's why you won't see a lot of these fun and novelty
with two
props.
Sources. You got to have 2 sources.
Correct.
To confirm.
Which is why you won't see a lot of these fun and novelty props that you see, maybe at places like Bet Online and offshore, 5 dimes, stuff like that, that are hung, albeit at low limits.
Yeah. And me and you, Benson, are not verifiable sources, despite the fact that we probably could do it, but we can't put up a prop and say, well, Dave said and Jeff said, so we're good. That doesn't work.
No, does not work. No. Benson, thank you for the time. I know it's a crazy time and a crazy couple of weeks for you. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of days down there at Circa. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
See you, always Jeffrey.
Fun talking to Jeffrey Benson.
At Jeffery Benson 12 on the Twitter.
Yes.
And at Circus Sports. They have a link, actually. Drew did a good job this week because Joe the Fat Panda made reference to a tweet from 3 years ago.
Right.
That Drew found and posted talking about why lines move.
Public money, yep.
And the public money don't move the number.
He said public fading the public or something, public betting the public. I forget what it was something on the public. It was a great tweet. I was like, this is the tweet of the year in 2024.
Yeah, but then the picture that was attached to it was like the little tanker bulldozer trying to move one of those gigantic cargo ships.
Yeah, tanker.
Yeah,
oil tanker type.
So, yeah.
Okay, a couple of things. One, stop writing this story. Taylor Swift's going to be in Vegas. Stop. It's done. Okay, I've seen this 15 times. Even our own Adam Hill wrote it. I was like, Adam. It's like, well, even you're writing this story.
What?
The time travel for Taylor back from Saturday Night Tokyo's show to the Super Bowl here in Vegas. It's possible. It's happening. She will be here. End of story. Move on. She's going to be here. Bottom line, no questions asked. Taylor will be in Allegiant for the 3rd time in her life. She played 2 shows here in Vegas last March. If you want to come to this game, bring a Brinks truck because The get-in price is $10,000, and you can spend $52,000 if you would like a good seat on the secondary ticket market at the moment. 52. So for $104,000, Dave, you and your lovely guest, wife, friend, whomever, can go for the cost of a high-end luxury sedan. You can go to the Super Bowl to watch a 3-hour football game to say you were there with good seats.
Yeah, I put the dark glasses on for this because I'm kind of embarrassed. What are we doing? That's a lot of money. Who's paying that?
Silicon Valley. We talked about this. We said the Niners are here. Everything double. Just double it. Cost of everything. Through the roof. It's the richest fan base in football in the NFL. We will have no parking. There will be no parking at the private airstrip right by the strip. Forget it.
Well, that happens every Super Bowl. Like they come here every Super Bowl. People like that come here. But to go to a football game and spend for 2 tickets 6 figures, I just want to shake their hand and ask them if they want to sponsor the show. Like we'll get some bang for your buck. You're going to get a 3-hour to 4-hour experience, or 4-hour experience. NFL Super Bowl's usually pretty much 4 hours,
right?
With the Usher halftime show in between. It's great, but let's talk, because we're here every day. At the ish time, you can put it right there, your logo, whatever you'd like. I don't know, man. I hope it's not an F1 type thing like that.
No, I don't think so. I do think if you'd like, I think if you're talking about F1, meaning the crowd is going to be your wine and trees crowd.
They shot up here.
Oh no, they'll get it. No, I disagree. They're going to get it.
Realistic.
Yeah, they're going to get whatever they want. Whatever they price it at, they're going to get. They're going to rob people. People are going to be furiously mad. Get ready. Okay, here are the storylines you're going to see the most. One, I'm a media member. I'm staying at the Luxor. Sorry, Will. What the fuck is going on? Why am I staying at the Luxor? That is going to be every tweet, every post, every article as to what the NFL just did. Secondly, is going to be why in the hell
it's the Luxor and the Excalibur, by the way.
Both are the same.
Which was right by the Tropicana, which is closing in 2 months.
Correct. You can't even book a room in April. Post March Madness, goodbye. That's gone. So that's going to be an official announcement. The rumor in Vegas, the announcement will happen here this week or next week about the demolition of the Trop coming in April beyond, and they are going to build the ballpark right where they want to build the ballpark, which is going to be an absolute engineering marvel if they can pull it off. But that's one story you're going to hear. The second story is, in order to go out to the team hotel for both teams, Lake Las Vegas is not close to the Vegas Strip.
Meltzer,
Mark,
put it out today. It's 20, and Rosh put it out a picture too.
Yeah.
So they're staying out at Lake Las Vegas, which is 25 miles away
from the Strip. It's also 15. It's also 15-20 miles from the Raiders practice facility where the Chiefs are practicing.
Yeah, so they're going to have a little bit of a commute to go to practice every day.
Just a little. So the media, have fun. If you're going back and forth, you better rent a car and you better get ready to pay the gas prices that we have here in Vegas, because it's $4 a gallon. Because you are going to be driving all over creation for this Super Bowl week.
Yeah, so stuff is going to be spread out. Staying on the Strip is not necessarily going to be convenient. It's not necessarily going to be easy to get around.
Yeah.
We got some people that have reached out to me, and you guys will reach out all week. You can do it right here on the show. If you watch the show live, get in the chat at symbol Boston versus the book. Or DM us, email us. What's the we're going to email the show. Ask the BBB.
Correct. At gmail.com.
Correct. Any questions like that? But I told someone, stay out by Red Rock. Stay right by our houses.
Don't stay at Durango. Brand
spanking new. Durango. That's at a good corner where you could, get to freeway access, get to shopping quickly, and get around. Green Valley Ranch is perfect down there.
Mm-hmm.
You can. So there's options to stay. A lot of people are looking at Airbnbs. They're getting a big money for Airbnbs.
Did you see if you're going to do that, guys, okay, just heads up. Last week here in Vegas, the city council fined an unauthorized Airbnb $180,000 for operating an unauthorized, unlicensed Airbnb. They are cracking down because a lot of people have illegal Airbnbs. There's only like 75 Airbnb or like 100 Airbnb licenses in the entire city. Like, it is really hard to do Airbnb in this town. They do not want you renting out houses in this town. They want you on a property in a room. They do not want you at a house.
Of course they do, but that's not realistic. I mean, there's 100 between your house and my house. There's 100.
Right, but they might be cracking down on all of them right now. You may give money and pay and show up and realize the locks are changed and realize that the person you gave your money to is out of business. So just be careful with the Airbnbs because they are definitely trying to make them not actually exist right now.
There's a lot of things going on. They're trying to do and make public, and be careful walking on the strip and standing still, and they're going to be taking pictures and moving you along and all these other things. So, yeah, I hope we've earned enough trust through the space, through each other, the people we are, that if you have questions, you can absolutely reach out to us. We'll steer you in the best direction we can. There's places off the strip to eat. There's places off the strip to go shopping. There's places off the strip to get merch. There's everything. There's more to Las Vegas than the 3 Mile Strip. I can just tell you that, in downtown. So there's Raymaker Lou will be in town at the Golden Nugget. So there's one person for sure that we know is coming. Let's put it this way. We got to walk through tomorrow.
Yeah, big business. You live in Texas, my friend. You get Texas oil. That's why you guys are $2.40 a gallon or $4 a gallon.
But we got some plans. We might have a live BVB event we're working on. We're making an announcement as soon as we confirm it. But
stay
if
tuned.
You guys are coming, there'll be an opportunity to
see us, hang out with us,
hang out, whatever. We're
more to come.
Fingers crossed.
Tomorrow's show probably will have the announcement for what's going to happen for us during the week of the Super Bowl. Yeah. Times, dates, locations, all the fun stuff. All right. Niners mounted the 4th NFC title game comeback of 17 points to beat the Detroit Lions yesterday. The Niners outscored the Lions 27-7 after halftime. How did this happen, Dave? In your mind, just what happened in that game?
It was so funny because I went on yesterday with Blewett and Ranieri right at halftime, and they're like, how is this number this?
I thought the same thing.
Thought it should have been a little bit more. Like Detroit
in game 400. I was like, why is it only 400? Like, they're down 17 points. It's 24-7. Why is it only 4-1?
Right. And it was pretty simple. San Francisco was getting the ball first. They got a field goal. Detroit gave them the ball. Scored a touchdown. Then Detroit fumbled the ball. Got a touchdown. 17-point lead gone in 8 minutes. That's why. I mean, drop passes, go for. I should he have kicked the second half? He should have kicked the field goal. No.
Look, I know what Lion fans are going to say. That Dan Campbell's aggressive nature was the reason why they were in that game to begin with. Completely understand that point. He did what he had always done. But at some point in time, you really need someone to pull you aside and get into your ear and say, Coach, we got to just get some points on the board. Let's just stop the bleeding for a second. Let's take a breath, because if we don't get this building is going to absolutely erupt. We can't keep giving the ball back on 4th down. And he kept going, and it was like, look, I know that's the Lions' MO, and I'm not trying to rub salt in the wounds, but man alive, like Dan Campbell's face said the whole thing after the game. Like, there's been bad losses in Lions history, but that has to be one of the most difficult losses in the history of the Lions fan base to take, because you were in the game. You had a 17-point lead, and it disappeared in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah.
was poof. It was just
fast.
gone.
Like, it was all the momentum was gone. Everything you had built up. Like I said it to those guys at halftime. They need 10 points. I think if they get 10 points, that'll be enough. They had 24. They got to get to 34. That would require the Niners to score 4 touchdowns to win by 1, 35-34. Could they do that? Yes, but they need 10. 2 touchdowns, I think they win it. If they score 2 touchdowns,
the Lions,
that puts them at
100%. Yeah, it's game over. Yeah, game over.
So
and he was trying to do that. Campbell was trying to end the game.
But you got to know right in that situation, we got to keep it 3 scores. We got to get the field goal. We got to keep it 17. We got to that was just it. And I don't know how many times you get back there. Saw Dan Marino get to the Super Bowl his second year and never get back. Okay. Mm-hmm. I know you got a situation and you're there and you go for it, but man, that was a tough one. That was how did that happen? I watched it happen in real time and couldn't believe it. I just was like, this is terrible.
I will say this, and this is a gambler in me talking, but it's also a frustration I have with football coaches in general. So let's go to the last drive of the game. They're down 10. Niners go and score a touchdown. Now the line was 6.5, 7, 7.5. Dan Campbell has the football, 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. They got the ball back, I think, with somewhere around like 5 minutes to play, maybe a little bit more than that, 5 minutes to play. They were in field goal range with 3 minutes to go, knowing they had to score twice. They were so determined to score a touchdown in that moment that we are scoring a touchdown through hell or high water. We must get this done now. Versus somebody getting in his ear and saying, Coach, we need 2 scores, right? I got to score a touchdown. I'm this down deep. Yeah, the clock is the most important thing. You have 3 timeouts. You'd be putting the entire season on an onside kick. We don't want that because no one has recovered an onside kick in a big moment in the last 5 years. The NFL has taken that out. It doesn't happen anymore. Onside kicks are no longer used to get the football back. They're like an effort in futility. Like, we just know it's not going to happen. You're not getting the football back. So you're putting the whole year on that, or we're going to trust our defense with 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, kick the field goal. We're down 7, get the football back, and we'll have a chance to tie the game with a touchdown. And then maybe you go for 2 to win the thing. And you could be Dan Campbell, the crazy gambler that goes for it on the road to win the NFC Championship. They scored a touchdown with 55 seconds left. It was over. Like, congratulations, you covered. Like, that was a coach. I'm not saying Dan Campbell was looking to cover, but that's all that was going to happen there. You were going to score a touchdown and lose by 3, which is exactly what happened in that game. They had no shot after they scored that touchdown, and they had a shot with 3 timeouts, the 2-minute warning, and a field goal from the 30-yard line.
A lot of times I think some maybe coaches or somebody, on the side, they get caught up in that a touchdown is harder to score than the field goal. Or
agreed.
You have to get the touchdown first. They're the same.
You have to score twice,
and
right?
If you kick the field goal with the time on the clock, with the timeout still left, you give your defense an opportunity to make a stop, and you get the ball back with a legit shot that you have to get a touchdown. But okay, it's not
with
scripted.
Timeouts.
It worked out for the books. Great, not good.
Not
great.
Scripted.
7 would have been a disaster. The gambling had nothing to do with it.
No,
0.
It's just a coach who gets in his mind, like you said, it's harder to score a touchdown. So let's go down. If we get the onside kick, we'll basically be in field goal range anyway. We have 1, 2 completions, kick a field goal, and we're tied. That's the thought process.
I get it.
But it all comes back to getting
blowing the clock,
right? Or knowing you have to get the onside kick,
right?
Because you can't get the onside kick. It's not going to happen. So you're putting your entire season on one play that is incredibly difficult and has like a 0.2% chance of working versus you control your own destiny with it by kicking the field goal. You're down 7. You got 3 timeouts. You got the 2-minute warning. You go and play defense. You put it on Hutchinson and says, go take Purdy's head off, or go try to force a fumble, or go and wrap up whoever you got to wrap up to get the football back for us. And then Jared Goff, go and let's see what happens. I would so much rather have it be in my hands than a bouncing football and hope that the oblong object falls the right way for my team to recover it. And that's what he did. And I thought I was really impressed. with the call with Greg Olson's call, because I thought he was describing it perfectly, going like, at some point you have to realize you need 2 scores. Like at some point, the most valuable thing you have right now is the clock. Forget the scores. The thing you have to preserve is, do you have enough time to even attempt this comeback? And they didn't have enough time. So like for all of that.
Otto just put it in the chat, and he's right. Harbaugh did exactly that, and they didn't get the stop. You know, that rainbow teardrop pass literally got me off the couch. I went nuts because I was watching a game thinking, if they get a stop here, it's 17-10. Lamar's going to have a chance to make this all right. They're going to have a chance. And they got the 3rd down, and they passed, which as the Ravens defense, you wanted to force them to do, because even if it's incomplete, you save that last time out. And he drops that ball in MVS's hands. He holds on to it. They win. Detroit runs the ball, burns a timeout, somehow scores a touchdown, and it lands 3, and it's done. And I feel bad. It's just, I don't know what the takeaway is today in Detroit, other than, man, it was a good season, but man, are we going to get close again? I don't know. Because
so I need to read this because I'm annoyed with people who are saying this. So when they were on the 24-yard line, okay, the Niners 24-yard line with $1:40 to go. They had 1:40 to go. They could have kicked the field goal right there.
They had all their timeouts.
They had all their timeouts. Okay,
so they have an opportunity there. They actually, I think, right before the 2-minute warning, it would have been a longer field goal.
Well, no, because they were at the San Fran's 49-yard line. Okay, they completed the 4th down pass down to the 25-yard line. Okay, then it was
after the 2-minute warning.
After the 2-minute warning,
okay,
then they let it run.
That's fine. Yeah,
they could have taken a timeout. Right, actually, they could have taken a timeout. It could have had it with 1:50 on the clock. They could have had 1:50 on the clock. Kick the field goal right there. 3 timeouts. You can get the football back.
Yeah.
Now, one 1st down ends the game. That's fine. But at least you're in the game. At least you have a chance to be in the game. And you're right. Harbaugh did it. Harbaugh went and said, okay, we'll make it a 7-point game, kick the field goal. Let's see what happens. Maybe we get the football back. Now, they didn't get the football back because an MVS, great throw, great catch, great play, great team wins. So there you go.
Yeah.
Right? In that moment. But I'd rather be the Ravens than the Lions.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it be on my terms than have it by somebody else's terms and having a bouncing ball. And look, Lions fans are going to chew on this for a very long time. You choked a 17-point lead. You fell apart. All right. You fell apart in the biggest moments. This is Bill Buckner. This is Steve Bartman. This is all of the worst, awful things, because you knew at some point in your heart, you knew this was possible at halftime and you couldn't believe it was happening because you knew it. Not Lions fans. Like everyone was like, as a Lions fan, like close all the bridges in my town if they blow this. Like I can't do this. I can't stand this. Can't happen like this. And it's exactly what happened. And I actually don't think, look, going forward on 4th down, you fed in. I felt like I was watching a college basketball game where you're watching college kids on the road just like fumble the basketball like crazy and just not be ready and be sped up. And like a team that presses, that's down by double digits, they constantly press and the crowd's on you. And it's, oh my gosh, everyone's looking at me. Turnover. Points. And you can't stop it. Like you just can't get your footing. You're on moving ground, like constant, plates shifting. And it sucks because you saw it. You're like, oh my God, they're going to do this. They're going to fall apart and they're going to lose. And then the offseason is going to be left with, what happens if Dan Campbell loses most of his coaches?
They're already talking about it all over the socials.
Because they're going to go. I mean, the offensive coordinator, the passing game coordinator, the defensive coordinator, like they all might leave. And it could be, someone made the analogy, like it won't shock me if the Lions are the Eagles next year.
I saw that and I was like, don't do that.
But it's a decent point about, head coach stays. The whole reason why Dan Campbell is so successful, and yes, it's Dan Campbell's staff, but his staff is really good. I mean, Mark Brunell might get another job as being a quarterback coach somewhere. Like, a lot of the guys that helped get this Lions team turned around, much like the Eagles, get better jobs. And then you got to replace that magic.
What makes it a better job? More money?
Yes. Prestige, money, power.
I mean, it better be a lot more money.
I mean, for some guys,
I don't want to go be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans right now. I'd rather stay and be the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions.
There's 32 jobs in the NFL. You wouldn't want one of them?
I don't want that one.
Wow.
I want to win the Super Bowl. I want to work with guys I want to work with. I want to be close. I want to go be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans and get blown out in 3 years because
because you believe in yourself, because most coaches are ignorant to a fault. Like, they don't care. Like, you can tell them the odds. Like, don't tell them the odds. Like, they just.
Chris Peterson stayed at Boise State. He's the one example that I always go to because I couldn't figure out why would he never take another job, and I would defend him from the.
He wasn't bad at Washington though.
No, but he waited for the right job. People came at him every year.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All he did was keep showing up. I like Boise. I like this conference. I keep winning it. Yeah. I'm getting kids.
Mark Few.
I'm taking the right job when it comes, and he did. He went to the Pac-12 and coached at Washington, and then he didn't coach again.
Right.
I don't know. I would just have to ask, and I continue to do. You're this close. You're the Detroit Lions. Pay those guys. Pay that guy to stay.
No, wants to be head coach. Wants the power. I get it. You want the power. So why are the Niners starting so slowly? Back-to-back games at home. They can't do this against Kansas City. The Lions are one thing. The Chiefs are something else.
I have no idea why they're starting.
They better have an answer. They better figure it out because they cannot go down.
Down against the Chiefs, right?
They go down two scores. It's over.
Oh, it's not over. We just
I'm telling you, if they go down 2 scores to the Chiefs, it's over. Chiefs won't lose that game. Niners are, again, Greg Olson, incredible job explaining the fact that the Niners defense is predicated on playing with a lead. They have 4 down linemen. They play more snaps than anybody else with 4 down linemen. That's why you can run on them. They don't do 5-man fronts.
Right.
4-man front.
Yep.
You can run on them because they're used to playing with the lead, and they go ahead. We're up 17-10. Run the ball all you want. We're good. When they're from behind and you're running, running the ball.
When they're trailing in the score. You said when they're from behind, and I was waiting for the chat to just unload.
When you're playing from a deficit and trying to overcome.
Much better. Yes.
That a team is running the football to protect their lead. You have a problem with the Niners defense.
Big time.
They have a problem. And
2
that
weeks
secret
in a
is
row.
Out. Yeah.
At home in their place, teams went in there and ran it down their throat over and over and over again until I don't know what the Lions in the second half, they stopped doing it.
The offense wakes up. Purdy wakes up.
No, I know, but the Lions got away from what they did, and the Niners made a couple stops early on downs, first and second, to leave 3rd and 9s that were then incomplete passes.
Look, Jared Goff under pressure. This is my whole point of the whole thing. I didn't trust Jared Goff outdoors under pressure on the road. Like, no way. Like,
it wasn't. I don't think it was him. I mean, those
he missed. Dave, he missed a couple of really good.
He missed a couple of throws. But they put up.
Oof.
How many points did they put up?
A lot, but mostly running the football. Mostly it was just the running game that got those points. Once it became a Jared Goff passing game, it was a disaster. Like, that just didn't work. Like, he's 0-6 against Niners now in the last 6 games. And it's just, they put the game on Jared Goff's shoulders, which I was like, if I'm a Lions fan, I'm like, oh no, this is not what we want. we don't want this to be a Jared Goff game. Laporta was great. He was tremendous in that game, but not enough. St. Brown, not enough of him. They didn't have the big catches when Josh Reynolds didn't have the big catches when they needed those guys, those secondary guys to make the big play. It didn't happen. The 3rd down drop by Josh Reynolds was brutal.
But that's not on Goff.
Well, the throw was on Goff. That was a bad throw. That was off the body. He had a guy. He got off his mark. The ball sailed to the outside. It's a bad throw. It was catchable.
31 points and
in his hands, but he dropped it.
They put up 31 points and lost. That's not on the offense. It's not on the offense.
He put up 7 in the second half.
It's 31 points.
27
race to 30. Well, they got to 30, but they got their second. They needed to get 38. It was 24 at halftime.
Right.
We needed 2 scores. 38 points wins that game. They don't get it.
Right.
They lose.
There's going to be a lot of people with a lot of hot takes on Brock Purdy. Can we agree the kid can play?
I never said he couldn't. I don't know.
I mean, can we just all like, can it just be like a baseline that Brock Purdy can play? Like, he's not a system quarterback. He's not lucky to be where he is. He's not a guy who just happens to be coached by a great quarterback guru, or he's surrounded by the best talent in the NFL. The kid made play after play. And if he runs like that in the Super Bowl, boy, oh boy, that was his running of the football, and his intensity was firing up his entire team. And that was awesome to watch. I was like, man, Brock Purdy outrushed Lamar Jackson. He looked great.
54 to 52. He almost outrushed him.
Almost did.
But
he outperformed him.
Made plays on third down when he needed to make plays on third down, keep drives alive. He looks cool as could be. As far as unnerved, he gets hit, he gets up. He gets hit late, no flag, he gets up, doesn't say a word, goes back. Is a guy that looks very comfortable to be in the position that he's in, and 100% every guy in that team and on a team, let alone the offense, believes in him. You can tell.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know what else you have to do as the quarterback. We get these guys and they advance to the Super Bowl. And for 2 weeks, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks because there are the quarterbacks. But go back in history and think about all the quarterbacks that we said or were heard. They're system quarterbacks. They won despite him. The guy's a game manager. We're going to hear it all. That's the 3-game parlay of quarterback analysis that we're going to hear for the next 2 weeks.
Arguably
won a Super Bowl.
It's the only position group that you can say the Chiefs are dramatically better than the Niners. The quarterback play is the only thing you can say. Everything else is either equal or on the Niners.
Come on.
Niners are way better.
Niners are way better, yeah.
Way better. Not even close.
Oh, I thought you said they're equal.
The Chiefs are better at the quarterback spot is arguably the only grouping of positions you could say the Chiefs are better than the Niners.
Oh.
Just the quarterback.
Tight end, right?
Kelsey versus Kittle. Give me Kittle. I want a real tight end.
People will tell you they'll take Kelsey.
Kelsey's a wide receiver. Stop calling him a tight end. You see the whiff block he made? He almost got Mahomes killed. On that third down pass rush play, he was like Matador. He doesn't block anybody. Kelsey's a wide receiver. We need to stop calling him a tight end. He's not a tight end. It's like Aaron Hernandez.
His whole career.
Aaron Hernandez, only because he's on the end of the line, not because he plays the position. Is where he lines up and runs a pass play. Like he is a receiver first and foremost. He is not a blocker. He's not in pass pro. He's not any of that stuff.
Actually, the Chiefs' defensive line is probably better
than the 49ers.
Chiefs is pretty good.
Dave, it was 4 first-round picks on the 49ers first. No. Niners they have 4 first-round picks on the Niners defensive front.
Who cares where they were picked? I'm talking about who they're playing right now.
They're all pros. Whoa, no.
Bosa
alone.
Chris
Bosa
Jones
alone.
Chris Jones.
I take Bosa over Jones, and that's it. That's
okay.
Only and everybody else is better for the Niners. Like everyone else in the Niners is way better. Like they have Chase Young playing in a they have a number 2 pick in the draft coming in on third down.
They got pushed around the field the last 2 weeks.
That's because they play a 4-man front. I told you that. That's why they're designed to do that.
You're saying it's not all. I'm talking about playing right now. I don't care where they were drafted. The Chiefs' defensive line is playing as good as any.
If you do a 5 or 6 man front for the 49ers, you won't run on them ever. You won't move them at all. You'll throw on them like crazy because there'll be single coverage in the secondary and you'll have safeties covering Kelsey. So you'll throw on them. But if you want to stop the run, you can stop the run as good as anybody else you wanted. The Niners have. 2 years ago, they had the best run defense in football.
What are we talking about 2 years now for? It's the game's
I'm just saying, if they wanted to stop the run
2 years ago,
if they wanted to stop the run, they could stop the run.
They better figure out how to stop the run.
I don't know if they will. I'll be very curious. I can't wait to see that strategy because if I'm them, I want the Chiefs running the football. I'd prefer KC to run the ball than I would have them passing because the matchup problem they're going to have. And Hamilton, look, he's the best cover safety in the game. And Kelsey had an incredible game. I mean, he really went at him and he had a monster game. The touchdown catch was an unbelievable throw. Great catch from Kelsey in the corner.
Oh, my
Not
God.
Hamilton's fault. Hamilton covered. He was right there on him. Put the ball right where he had to put the ball. Caught it. I mean, and then that third down throw where he was out, falling forward and Kelsey jumped and caught it. Like, these are not Hamilton's fault. The Niners have good safeties, but they don't have, Kyle Hamilton types, all pros at the safety spot. So I would rather have them run the football, to be quite honest. Pacheco's great, but I don't think KC beats the Niners running the football. I cannot wait to see what KC tries to do if Deebo Samuel is healthy, because Deebo should be healthy.
I hope he is. I mean,
yeah, he should be healthy.
There's not going to be too many injury questions going into this game for either team. That's what's going to make this fun to talk about from a prop perspective, from a score perspective. Totals 47.5. Surprising to me. Thought it would be a little bit higher. A lot of openers with this matchup had it 49 or 48.5. So
goes over 40, doesn't it? Like, we're going to see offense, right? I mean, we're not seeing 17-10, right?
I don't think so.
I'd be stunned.
Yeah,
to see 17-10. That would, I mean, everyone's going to bet the second half under. It's going to be one of the most popular talked about bets. Bet the second half under. Fourth quarter under now.
It's been pretty good.
It's 19-1. It's 18-2 in the second half. Yeah. Everyone's going to talk about it. But again, just like the Bills game, where if the Bass kick gets made, it goes over. If the Flowers touchdown happens, it goes over. Like, it's been staying under based upon some pretty major individual one moment events, keeping the game from going over in the second half. So I think it'll go over in the second half, but I think we're seeing 45, 50 points. I lean towards the over in the game overall, like a 27-24 type final in the game. But look, Chiefs are in the fourth Super Bowl in 6 years.
Yep. I
was stunned at this. Somebody said to me, Matt, 90% of America does not care about this game. And the vast majority of people, I tweeted last night, is this true? And the answers I got were like 75% yes.
Yeah.
That they don't like this game. I like this game. Do you?
I think the game will be fine. I just think that I see it from both perspectives. We just saw this game literally 4 years ago. Same uniforms.
Yeah, but that was literally the last major sporting event before the world shut down.
I know.
Like, people don't really remember 2020 for that reason, because in March of 2020, hell broke loose across the globe.
Yeah.
So like the last time these two teams played.
I think about that, with Jimmy G and Mahomes and
blowing the lead in the second half. Blowing the fourth quarter lead in the second half. That's what's interesting about this game is that Kittle and a lot of the key components of that Niner team remember what happened 4 years ago. There's a payback element to this game. There's a whole motivational element to this game when it comes to guys like George Kittle.
Both coaches the same.
Yep.
So when you get the same, a lot of times you get the fatigue. And like, believe it or not, people are making a comparison that the Chiefs are becoming the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
It's the quarterback and coach that can't be beat. They keep changing the parts. They got the tight end. He's there. He's staying. So,
but it's 2 versus 20 years.
Mahomes is Brady. Kelsey's Gronk, and Reed is.
Why does everybody forget 2000 and 2010? Why does everybody forget the 10 years before Gronk ever stepped foot on in a Patriot field?
Because I
don't understand
everything.
I know, but like, everyone's talking about 2010 to 2018. I'm like, you're forgetting the previous 10 years. Like, there was 10 years before Gronkowski ever became a Patriot. Brady won 3 Super Bowls, played in 4 before Gronk ever became a Patriot. Like, it's weird to me that people just gloss over the fact that Brady and Belichick won 3 and went back to back without Gronk, Hernandez, without anybody, without Amendola, without any of the people like, the Edelmans of the world. They were never part of it. It just shows you like the young nature of sports fans being 25 to 30 years old who were in diapers when that was going on. And they have no memory what actually happened. So the instant reaction is like Brady and Mahomes are the same. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
7 championships to 2. They're not even, Mahomes is not even in the conversation yet. Like, let's see where we are in a decade from now, and then we'll talk about it.
This is not the world that we live in now. Everything is now.
True.
Everything is now.
It's so weird. Like,
you literally just went on your old man yelling at the cloud portion.
Fine. It's just look. This is Matt Chapman who played with Brady in the first dynasty. Played in 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots. Talking about Mahomes yesterday, highlighting 12 balls completed at or behind the line of scrimmage and 20 at 5 or less yards for, check notes, 17 whole points, including none in the second half, isn't to dismiss or degenerate. It's a winning, no turnover, survive and advance performance. Good. The point is to show the insane hypocrisy of pretending like this is a good enough to win day is in the same stratosphere as the GOAT QBing Brady. It's arguably not even close.
Yeah.
It's just crap analysis as to say as much. One day, this dink and dunk, yak merchant, scheming success QBing. The next, the best thing you've ever seen. Make up your inconsistent, petty minds.
Yeah.
Which is, I completely and totally agree with Matt Chatham that it's, what are we doing?
It's
like that
the
performance
word was denigrate. You said degenerate.
Sorry, degenerate. It's unbelievable to me to watch the talking heads fall over themselves over what Mahomes did yesterday, because if they lost, they'd be decapitating him for not scoring any points in the second half.
Now this is what 80% of the people were saying about Brady while you were basking in the glow of it. The same shit. He's dink dunk system quarterback. It's all Belichick.
How is this, Dave? Hold on. I'm sorry.
When this was going on.
In 2007, the Patriots rewrote the record books on offense. How is that even? You can't even talk about that.
Did they win the Super Bowl?
They won every regular season game they played.
They win the Super Bowl that year?
They lost to the Giants, but that's not.
They didn't win the Super Bowl that year, right?
Right. But what does that matter? Chiefs haven't won the Super Bowl yet either.
I'm saying in 2003 and 4, when they beat, you just said they didn't even talk about the team. They beat Carolina.
No, but the Patriots reinvented themselves constantly.
Yes.
It was Brady played like 3 different careers, from game manager to Hall of Fame record breaker to aging veteran who used his brain to how to dismantle defenses when his skill set wasn't as good as it was. Like Mahomes right now is playing as a 26-year-old, guy with loose limbs and inflexible cartilage. Like, let's see where he's going to be in his 30s. Let's see where he's going to be when he can't play with the guys he's been playing with right now. One day you're going to see a whole new skill set, 34 years old. That's how old Kelsey is. What's he got? 2 years left max?
Maybe.
I don't
know.
Okay. Tyreek Hill's already gone.
There's talk about him. If they win,
he walks. I've been saying, oh, I'll throw up. I will throw up if that happens.
Proposing and walking off to go on tour with his new wife.
I've told you that. I think that's going to happen. I think that's a very real possibility. He walks, win or lose, he walks, and he goes off with Taylor for the next year. I've said that you've heard me say that for 2 months now. That's on the table for me, for him. And if he wins, it's 100% on the table for him. What's left to do? You're 34 years old. You're dating the most popular pop star in the world. You'll never need money again on anything. Go travel the world with her. Go have the most incredible experience. Have your kids, get married, and go off and do a reality TV show.
Right.
I mean, that's that's where they're going to go. What they're going to do. I mean, it's a legitimate question to ask: did the Ravens blow the game? Like, they had a chance. They had multiple chances in the second half. Their defense held Patrick Mahomes to no points in the second half. And they scored 3. And they had 2 turnovers in the end zone.
I mean,
Mahomes is pitch.
As much as they blew the game, Casey's defense won it.
That throw from that interception in a triple coverage.
Oh.
Like, you could have caught that. Like, that was just like, you can't be serious.
Are you implying that I have good hands or bad hands with that comment?
Either or. You can catch. You are able to catch. That ball was right to you. Boom. Thank you very much. Like,
I can catch them behind me, over, low. I got good hands. No question.
It's unbelievable to me to go, Lamar Jackson, you had a home playoff game, just like Like if I'm Josh Allen and I'm Patrick and I'm and I'm anyone with the Ravens, but if I'm a Bills player, Ravens player, if I'm Lamar Jackson, if I'm Josh Allen, I have to ask myself a really hard question. If I can't beat Mahomes in my building, when am I going to beat Mahomes? Because there's only one active quarterback who can do it.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the Bengals look like next year with Joe Burrow. And I want Burrow come back and let's see what Joe Burrow looks like. Because Burrow, he's not scared of anything. And he'll come in, and I think it'll be really fun. We need not because I want it. I just think it's more fun when there's a Brady versus Manning type of thing. Like there's Mahomes, and then in the AFC, there's just a bunch of guys who just puke all over themselves in big moments.
I don't know if that's completely fair either, because it's the sum of its parts. The quarterback gets all the spoils, but it's the sum of its parts. Sometimes
on paper, the Ravens were better than the Chiefs.
If the Bills improve their defense, the Bills are going to win.
Well, they got to be healthy first. I mean, Bills did improve their defense. They were hurt.
But if the Bills improve their defense, they're right there. The Bengals did have a good defense, and they had Joe Burrow along with weapons, and they did find a way to win. But the excitement for the quarterbacks in the AFC, I think those guys are going to battle back and forth. I think about all those years when, Roethlisberger had to get past Brady. Manning had to get past Brady and the Patriots. And the Steelers won a couple Super Bowls when Roethlisberger did it behind good defenses. Yes. But they went and earned it. The one game situation of the NFL playoffs makes it so look, we don't got to be better all season. We got to be better today.
It's good.
We're better today.
Right.
Healthier, and everything goes our way today. We're going to win. And then we can go on and slay that dragon. But Lamar's not going anywhere. And Baltimore, we're on to the Orioles. It's baseball season officially in Baltimore. That was a tough one. That's a tough.
I don't know. Does he mean interference in the end zone? I didn't really think it was interference in the end zone. I thought it was just a horrible.
All hung up there forever.
Horrible throw. I said it was a bad throw, bad read. It just wasn't the way to throw. It just wasn't appropriate to throw that ball in that moment. You already had the Zay Flowers fumble. You had to protect that thing with your life. Like you couldn't be even remotely risky with your throws, given that you had at maximum 2 possessions left in that game. And that turnover was it. Like the fumble at the end zone was bad enough. Like that was, you score that, it's 17-14. There's a ton of pressure on Mahomes. They got to get the first down. They got to move the ball. And that defense for the Ravens was humming in the second half. Like they just dominated in the second half. And then, if I'm a defender, I'm looking at the offense going like, fellas,
please.
Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Like, we can't do any. I can't do negative. I can't go give you anything more than 0. I can't take numbers off the board. Yes, first half, we weren't great, but there's no such thing as taking points off the board. You need to go score.
You remember the movie Replacements when Gene Hackman was the coach and he goes, Danny, I need the ball. Go get the ball, Danny. Go get the ball. Like you wanted to see Harb on the sideline say to somebody like that, I guess we got to go get the ball. You got to go score. I used to say it as a Steeler fan. Polamalu has to intercept the ball and take it all the way to the end zone. It has to be a pick six because we can't run, and Roethlisberger's not on today. Like, it was to that point with the MVP of the league. It was so frustrating to watch, and I was, it was great because I was watching with the kids and Jess was wearing her 92%ers or 96%ers red T-shirt, and she's like, I told you the Chiefs were going to win. I told you the Chiefs are going to win. And I'm like, it's not over yet. Relax. They might score here. And Kendall goes, Daddy, the Chiefs are going to win. They can't do anything. They're going to.
But they did. Win. No, they did a lot. They just turned the ball over when they did.
But at the end, it was like, when it was 7, it was just like, she just gave up.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, when you gave the ball back to Mahomes, I mean, it was 17-10. Needed the ball back and then a touchdown. It was really a large ask for an offense run by Mahomes because they know they've been there so many times. They know how to close games out. They know how to end games when they have the football.
Whitrock just took a cheap shot, but maybe kind of true. Watching the Ravens yesterday was just like watching Iowa football this year.
I mean, a little bit, but Iowa football didn't make the same mistakes as those Ravens players did. I mean, Iowa football they didn't score,
Right.
I mean, the interception in the end zone, the fumble, Zay Flowers, the taunting penalty, like it just, they got outside of what made the Ravens the Ravens. And I felt like the referees lost control of that game. It was really chippy. It got chippy in the beginning. It was, people were laughing at Travis Kelce throwing this stuff from Tucker. I thought it was a clown move. It's like, what are you doing?
We see that stuff now too much. Like when the
What are you
Patriots came to Pittsburgh, there was a lot of barking back and forth.
I know, but but you don't go after the kicker. You throw Justin Tucker because you can throw the ball anywhere. Kickers are going to warm up because they need to kick at different end zones. You take his stuff and throw it like you're picking on the kid who's at the algebra class. Like, come on, bro. Like that's what had of all the, like, to talk about Taylor, like that's the part of the Taylor Travis thing that I don't really get, because that's not what she's always been, the anti to all of that. Like that's not what she stands for. And so to watch that, I'm like, I really wonder when it gets quiet. I wonder what Taylor says about that, because I was like, that's not even like, you can't even say Mahomes, he can be where he wants. NFL rules state quarterbacks can throw the ball wherever they want. Kickers are going to kick when they need to kick to warm up. So like that was the start of it. And then it boiled over to the game. And then the Van Noy thing where he taps Kelce and they flag Van Noy, which was a joke. Like there were a lot of things. I mean, look, the referees had a bad game. Like I said, it's not why the Ravens lost. The referees had an influence, but that wasn't the reason. The reason was the turnovers. 3-0 in turnovers, game over.
Can't win.
Bottom line, you cannot turn the ball over 3 times. And if you do, you better have 2 or 3 back to even it up. You can't be down 3-0 in the turnover margin and win at home. Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable.
No. Yeah.
And Harbaugh is going to have a long, hard talk. I think they signed Lamar long-term. I mean, my goodness, Odell Beckham Jr.'s father is on Twitter crushing Lamar for that game. Not my son's fault. Not my son's fault. I mean, that's not great. Like, you don't really want those things going on inside the locker room. So, if you are coming to Vegas, and we talked about the guys who are coming to Vegas,
holy crap,
you better be ready for not just the most expensive ticket, but there were people who were saying, hey, I want to come in and just be a part of it. This is going to be the most expensive hotel room stay. So last year, the average hotel in Arizona was $300. Doesn't that seem low?
No, I don't think so.
They're expecting hotel room rates to average $800 a night. Here.
Oh.
Most expensive Super Bowl hotel rate in the history of locations for the Super Bowl. $800 a night. And this is an analyst projecting this. So this is not like somebody in Vegas speculating this. This is people who are watching this stuff for how much hotel rooms are going for. So if you're thinking about driving in,
you know what? Sometimes these analysts are full of, sorry, Wilson. These analysts are full of shit.
But they do take the average and they can look at the average and they can play it out.
There's a sweet package that you can come and stay here for like $5,000 a night. That skews up the average.
Agreed. But tickets come with that. And like, but
no, that don't get you tickets. That gets you tickets into the VIP watch party. That don't include tickets to the game. Okay. If you include tickets with a package to stay and tickets to the game, good seats, they're probably $5 a piece. So that adds $10,000 to the stay. Now the package to come here for the weekend is $20,000, which is.
But it all rolls downhill, though, right? I mean, like at CES, the same things were going on, but you could say at the Flamingo was $800 a night at the Flamingo for CES.
Well, if the lower places get that, that's great. Like that's what
sets their year up.
Sets up at least the first quarter. Everybody's right now focused on the first quarter based on all the conversations we're having with people and everything else. Everybody's talking about this first quarter. Like, okay. The year goes beyond March, people, but this is high. This is and
bring your wallet.
Our friend Watts Evers said he's looking for a Super Bowl ticket, and I
Sugar Daddy.
He asked him if he was bringing the assless chaps.
Look at that.
And he said, "Of course I am. Does a bear shit in the woods?" And I was like, "Are you expecting that to get you the ticket?" Like, and we're not putting people up at the houses. We're not. I don't think we have too much going on. I don't think it's a good idea for anybody to stay at my house or your house based on what we're going to be doing.
They're at the big King 6 room.
This is becoming a thing. That's not the first person asked CBW. We do have a room, but
I have a house and I'm still not down with it. And I don't have Maddie that week. I have an empty house to myself and I'm still not thinking.
Yeah, but if things go as planned, we're never going to be home anyway.
Correct.
So, we're going to be on Radio Row, Media Row, they're calling it now because it's not just radio, but
correct.
We'll be there and then we'll be maybe in some other places and, we'll be, I'm seriously thinking about driving a van around and being a mini Uber service, BVB Uber service. We'll take cash only payments. And you have to have direct number to me. I'm not putting it on an app. I'm not doing all that stuff. I'll pick you up, drop you off, and I will
Venmo me the money.
Get your bags.
A couple quick ones before we let go of Sirius XM and Sports Grid here on a Monday. Flutter is now traded, the parent company of FanDuel, on the New York Stock Exchange. They brought Gronk out to do the Gronk spike in front of the New York Stock Exchange. He was in California yesterday doing the NFC Championship game. So he flew straight across the country to be there in the morning to go in full Gronk FanDuel kick of destiny type of uniform.
Yeah.
To go up there and spike the football in front of all of the dignitaries at the New York Stock Exchange. Does this move the needle for you at all that FanDuel is now FLUT? F-L-U-T is the trading term for them on the New York Stock Exchange.
I have to put that on my list. What was it? F-L-U-T?
Yes. FLUT.
F-L-U-T. Move a couple of those letters around and
yep.
I think I'm thinking of a word.
Add an S.
Let me think. That's good. Hey, someday I hope we're putting BVB on the stock exchange. That would be pretty wild.
Yes. I was thinking about that. I was like, what would the BVB stock exchange? I was like, we'd be BVB. Okay, Matt. I stopped real quick. I was like, you dummy. I was like, we'd be BVB.
I mean, we would be big B, little V, big B, I think is where we're going to go. Like in case anyone actually took the whole BVB all caps moniker. But big deal for probably the next round of funding. This is a big deal.
Well, I read a really interesting thread by the Krajcik guys, the analysts over.
Oh, Krajcik, Eilers and Krajcik.
Yeah, I read a really interesting take on it about like the pros and cons of going public and the pros and cons of being on the New York Stock Exchange and like what this does for the gambling race, if you will. And it does give them a really big leg up with access to capital. Like it does let them do some big things if they want to do. If Flutter wants to go in big, if Flutter wants to buy a property here in Vegas, this is how they do it.
Of course.
So
yes,
it does put them into a pretty interesting place. They could buy a property in Atlantic City. They could buy a property in Tunica. They could do, go to Michigan and buy a property there. Yeah, it gives them a lot of opportunities to be very fluid in the market to do different things. But it also puts them under the microscope in a different way. With regulations and regulators and things you must do. And if you're not publicly traded, you can be more nimble sometimes. You can do different deals that you don't have to disclose to the public. So they thought it was a pro and con situation. But if they're going to be regulated in Nevada at some point soon, this is a big day for them if they want to be licensed here.
It's a step. It's another step in the process. This will be see, we did this. See, we did this. See, we did this. Now we want to buy the hotel next to the new baseball stadium at the Trop and put a.
Could they buy Boyd
in there? What's that?
Think they'd buy Boyd?
No.
Too much? Too big?
Yeah. Boyd's gigantic. Boyd,
I know.
Yeah, they have their casino company.
I know, but I just wonder, like, is that their goal? Is their goal to go outside the sports? Because part of the thread talked about the iCasino component, that they're going to be the number one iCasino component. They're two right now. but they're going to be number one.
100%. That's what it all was about. I mean, Cuban sold the Dallas Mavericks to get a casino. Like a casino can be a very good business. You have to know how to run it, pay people to run it for you. It's not for everybody, but the casino business is a good business. They're getting in it. There's no question.
Well, they're already in it. They're in the iCasino business. I mean, the physical brick and mortar casino business. Bless you. They're going to go into a larger scale and be more heavily involved. So
right. That's the move. Listen, the iCasinos are great. The physical locations are better for a lot of in the right places.
Right.
Like, they're going to build a casino in New York City, right?
Coming. They're building right now. Yep.
Well, it would
Times
be
Square.
a perfect place for someone to be that's there back east on the stock exchange.
Fair. One more before we let go of SiriusXM and Sports Grid. MGM has teamed up with X Twitter to display odds with links to wagering, I guess an affiliate deal with Twitter with Elon Musk. How do you feel about this? Because Twitter is the one place where most of us in the gambling community, for sports betting at least, we hang out the most. And so now we're going to be targeted consistently with ads and links and offers on Twitter.
A lot of the opportunities that I have today are due to being on Twitter. And I used it and still use it. It's a great way to communicate with people that's not text messaging, but sometimes it feels like text messaging. You post something and then, a lot of people see it. You didn't have to send 100 times. You just post it once and whatever. It's a great way to group talk to individuals. I think this sucks.
Why?
When you buy the message, the vehicle of the message gets distorted. This is what's going on in media, period, in life. They're buying the message. The gambling stuff notwithstanding, it's a metaphor for what's going on. Is it not? How can one company get this deal? What are we doing? We're flooded with enough ads and other crap now.
I guess I would have to ask, what do you see Twitter X as? Is it a utility or is it an app?
What's the difference?
Well, if it's a utility, it's needed for society to operate, and it should be untethered to companies. It shouldn't be
like the electric company or the gas.
Pretty much, yeah. You shouldn't be showing bias. You shouldn't be showing any type of lenient. You take ads from everyone. You don't do any special deals for BetMGM. You do that deal for all operators. So you would set up, maybe a gambling type of ad, but it would have the odds for the Super Bowl for every book. And you would say, hey, do you want to buy into it? All you can be listed on it. But this is an exclusive deal with one. And an app can do an exclusive deal with one as a private company. Can say, we're going to sign the rights to being the official sports betting partner of Twitter is BetMGM, which is what they did. And you're right. I think it does make people go, wait, what? Because what does that look like if I am going to advertise? If I'm, Flutter and I'm going to advertise on Twitter, are you going to bury me? Is your algorithm going to bury my ad because I'm buying the ad? But are you going to make sure that that everyone sees MGM first and me second? How does that work?
Would you believe them anyway if they told you?
Probably not. No.
Right.
Right.
I'm learning so much about the media every single day with all of our meetings and this and that. And not that I'm naive, but I ask a simple question like, okay, so this is how it works. And I look at them and go, really? Well, what about this? And they go, oh, don't worry about that. Oh, really? Don't worry about it? That's your answer? Okay. I opened up the app on a weekend and I saw under For You, under trending, under sports, under everything, hashtag BetMGM everything. And I saw the commercial with Vince Vaughn and Tom Brady. over and 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 over. Every time I closed it, opened it back up, it popped back up. And I was like, what a strange coincidence. How can this possibly be? I'm looking for the injury information. I'm trying to check the accounts that I rely on because we'll get to it in bonus time.
Mm-hmm.
But the Embiid not playing to playing and stuff with Denver was interesting and intriguing to me. And it's now basketball season and hockey season. Take us out here. We'll finish it in bonus time.
More on this in bonus time. We'll talk more about it tomorrow as well. If you guys on Sirius XM and on Sports Grid, thank you for watching and being here. We'll talk to you guys coming up tomorrow. If you are on YouTube and on Twitter, you guys are hanging because we got bonus time.
So X needs adds money to make money. That's fine. I understand the deal. I just think that a lot of people are going to get naively roped into only using apps. The beauty of the business is the ability to shop and see what other books have, get the best numbers, understand why. Now, you may not understand. I take it for granted. I understand because I know most of the people working at the different joints. So like why this person is -6, while this person is -5, I can kind of extrapolate out why, and I don't know if everyone else can do that, but your ability to get gas at a gas station for $4 a gallon versus $2.90, you can understand that. Like if you get milk and it's $6 a gallon over here, but it's only $4.50 over here, you're going to drive the little bit extra to go get the $4.50. That's what the beauty of this business is.
Right.
So you have to be able to use other things. Do you think this is going to limit like people's perception of this industry? A deal like this? I
don't. By the way, Benson wanted to tell us that they've already gotten the money for the Niners. They're back up to 1.5.
Oh, perfect.
So one was the basement.
There you go. Yeah, just hit refresh on my odds screen. There it is.
So it's already back. It's already back.
Jeffrey.
It's already back up to 1.5. So in case you're curious, what the low is going to be before low is 1. So Niner money already is already coming in here.
And they'll go to that every time they need to.
Just one to back up, one to back up. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Now that 2 weeks in advance, it's the best. Know that's why you put the line out Sunday night or first thing Monday morning at what you want or where you think it might be to get the bet. Now we know. We don't ever have to flip.
Here's a crazy stat too, by the way. There have been 568 games in the NFL this year, including the postseason. The Ravens' designed run rate on Sunday versus the Chiefs ranked 563rd. That is the 6th lowest designed run rate in this football season.
What?
The number one rush offense in the entire NFL.
How can that be?
Right. The design run rate, meaning it was supposed to be a run, not Lamar Jackson rushing on scramble, a designed run. The 6th lowest designed run offensive game plan. That could get Todd Monken fired. Just saying about that. Like that is, you take a team that is built on the run and you throw. And you get bounced as the 1 seed at home. That's
Did
brutal.
you see the BetMGM ad?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, I don't. Those ads are all, whether it be Jamie Foxx or Tom Brady. It's not for me. It's not designed to attract me. It's.
I just can't imagine the burn for that though.
It's super expensive. It's the same as the FanDuel ad with Gronk. It does nothing for me. It's just, how much money are you doing?
What does it do for them?
I have no idea, but I don't know.
That's what I would love to know.
I know, but I can't tell you what a Taco Bell ad does for Devontae Adams. I don't know I don't know. I'm not the target market, so I can't tell you whether that's motivated me or not. They're not marketing to me. I don't buy nacho fries. So whether Devontae Adams is doing a nacho fry, and I've seen that ad 1,000 times, I still haven't ordered nacho fries, and he plays here, plays for the Raiders. So I don't know what Vince Vaughn does for MGM. I don't know what Jamie Foxx does for MGM. It's not for me, so I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems like it's there's a lot of people that, and it's crazy too. The other thing that Twitter has started out as was an opinion that everybody could give, for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm.
And now and it's not just gambling, but gambling's the microcosm we live in and the world we live in. People love to tell you what you don't know without listening to what you might know. They love to tell you that you're wrong and you don't know shit and blah 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 blah. No one ever takes the time to go, what are they saying? And I hope this doesn't narrow that into, geez, all I see when I open it up is BetMGM, BetMGM, BetMGM.
It will. No, it's the same thing. I mean,
we're getting throttled. It's going to throttle it down like that.
No, I think the way I perceive the big companies is I perceive it the same way I look at the big four fast food companies. It's like they're the most known, they're the most common, they'll be the most used, but there'll be markets for people like Circa and people who want to run smaller boutique type of restaurants and books that will cater to a different crowd and to a different audience. And we just haven't gotten there yet. We have Circa, obviously, with Jeffrey and Benson came on the show today. We have certain books that are doing that, Circa being probably the most high profile. But there will be other books. There'll be other operations that are going to come up and say, hey, I'm going to do things differently. And I'm going to have a different approach. And I'm going to offer different things to take away a certain percentage of your market share because I can survive on 2% of what you guys have.
Right.
That's all I got to carve out.
Sounds like you're talking about a certain show that I'm.
I mean, it's fine. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's what I think we've talked about a lot in terms of the people we talk to and the shows that we present, the topics we do. And I think I understand what MGM is doing. I understand what Flutter is doing. I understand what DraftKings is doing. But I think there's going to be some big conversations about what the future of the business is going to look like. Because are you just going to go to the 25-year-old gambler who wants to do a 6-leg parlay? If that's going to be the base of your business, I think there will be people who have been gambling, people of your age or higher who have been gambling for a long time, who have deep pockets, who are going to want to gamble at places that aren't going to market to 6-leg parlay players. Better odds, better prices. They know your name.
The more people get educated, the more people will shop.
I would agree with that 100%.
Because they're not doing it the right way. They're not doing it with the right software, and they're not doing it with the long-term intention. They're doing it with a very short-term intention. And again, I only know that because I look at everything. I've talked to a lot of these people. You said it on Twitter. That was funny, made me laugh, about, the public money doesn't move things. If you listen to people in the gambling media and you tagged me, and I laughed, and I was like, they don't listen.
No, because the first comment underneath was they laughed at you. They said, right, like he knows.
Yeah, and the big companies,
like, okay.
Yeah, and the big companies have looked me right in the eye and told me I don't know what I'm talking about. I've had people tell me for 30 years in the business that I don't know what I'm fucking talking about. I just say, okay. I can't convince someone that doesn't want to listen, right? We've had people come to us with like personal issues. We've offered to help. If you don't want to help yourself, you can't do anything. And this is again, we're in a space where it's like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Well, how do you know? I just am saying it's 95%. This is what's going to happen. We'll see. But I just don't think it's the right way to get your business all rounded up. And I think you can spend a lot less with people that know a little bit and can bring a little bit more to the table.
But they don't want an educated public.
Well,
they don't want. That's the problem. We want to talk to people. The people who want to watch this show, the people who want to sponsor this show, want an educated public. That is antithetical to what many of these companies are interested in.
Oh, I got to get the glasses back on because you may.
That they don't want. If you run a fast food restaurant, okay, a big box store, fast food restaurants, over 6 billion served, the last thing you want is a documentary on how your food is made. They don't want to see the pink goo that turns into your chicken nuggets.
Pink goo.
Yes, that's what it is. They don't want that. They want nothing. They don't want that to show you how you get to minus 110 there. Like, they don't want to have that conversation because they'd rather not disclose it. It's better if you don't. All they want you to do is, does it taste good? Oh, it tastes good. We're all good, right?
Yeah.
That's what they want. So yes, I mean, the education of the public is a gigantic conversation point, because the more educated the public is, the less they're going to do 4 and 5 and 10 game parlays.
Listen, you can tell a kid not to smoke and they're going to smoke. You can
Correct.
tell a kid not to drink and they're going to drink. Sometimes you can tell them till they're blue in the face. It doesn't mean that because we tell you don't do parlays, the kids are going to do parlays.
Of course they are, until they realize that they've done or they've drank 10 nights in a row and they're failing out of school and they've gained 30 pounds. They got to change something in their life.
There's got to be a balance.
Correct.
In
I mean,
life.
parlay is not bad. I parlayed last night.
Right.
You can parlay. I'm not saying that parlays are bad. It's the way you do it. It's how
Yes.
I ate McDonald's 3 days ago. If I ate it every day for the next 30 days, something will be wrong. So it's everything in moderation in life. Literally everything. Alcohol, cannabis, sex, everything is moderation in life.
I've said this so many times. I mean, the book Life is in this gambling up and down. Right? It's a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
And I think we both have a unique perspective of the places we've been, the things we've been through. I almost freaking died. I had a stroke and I woke up and had that like life moment. You went through and are still going through a divorce and things and being a single dad. And that's just the two of us. Like, I got 3 kids, all girls, raising in Vegas. And now one's in New Jersey going to college. One is going to UNLV and one is in 4th grade. Like, you're going to ask us or tell us how to be a dad of a girl.
Right.
Like, we're learning. I ain't no expert, but I might know a few things, but I will be the first one to ask all the guys in the chat, like, why didn't you tell me it was going to be like this when I dropped my kid off across the country? You should have told me. And they're like, oh, no, I didn't want to tell you it was bad. Or, yeah, it's hard. Life is hard. The gambling's hard. Like, but at some point, somebody's going to say some shit about us, and that's fine.
They already do.
That's fine.
They already do. What do you mean at some point? They already do.
No, like, really, like, come at us. You know,
they
like,
already do. And they already will. And they will. They just say most of it's in private, but they do.
Yeah, that's fine. But
I mean, you don't see as much as I do. I get it all the time.
That's fine.
It is what it is. But I can look myself in the mirror and not feel guilty, bad, sad, or anything about it, because I know in my heart what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I should live. I'm trying to live a perfect life.
Hell no.
Be some symbol or some martyr for what's going on. I just think there's certain things going on in the space that need to be talked about because in a lot of ways, I've learned it through watching myself become more educated through talking with you, talking with other people in the industry, doing multiple hours and hours and hours of podcasting and talking and betting every single day and learning about the way these things are being done and going like, wait a minute, like this doesn't look right. Like, how are you guys actually doing this and getting away with it? Like, how are you not offering real odds? And how are you guys allowing, saying that you're DFS and you're gambling? And we know you're gambling. And it's like, I mean, look, the number one advertiser right now in the space are these companies who are doing DFS disguised as sports betting sports betting disguised as DFS. Excuse me, flip it around. And we say that.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone's going to come to us and say, let's sponsor that show. It doesn't mean, but I'm more comfortable saying I'm good because I can look myself in the mirror and I don't have to lie to you guys in our audience and be like, hey, did you know you get 25 times your money if you do a 6-leg prop parlay? Put it in a prop calendar. You're like, well, fuck, Matt, that should be a 480. Why are you telling me to do 25 times? It's supposed to be 48 times my money. Well, guys, it's just I'm just trying to do what the sponsor says.
We vet our standard to work with us or alongside us or like we put people through ringers. I mean, me especially. I can't advocate something that I don't think people will believe in. My credibility is too important to me, and the life of this show and you is way too important to me to take some hand out small bag of money, whatever offer.
Right.
If it's we tried it.
We did.
People come at us
a
with
month.
affiliate deals
Yeah.
and promo codes and things like that, and we've gone.
Yeah, we did. We tried sport. I mean, look at if you guys. I'm not going to go through the sponsors. You know them. If you go back in the history of this show, you know the sponsors that we have tried to bring on, and they're not here anymore for a reason, like for either them or us, and sometimes mutual, where it didn't work. It wasn't meant for us. It didn't feel right. It didn't fit with what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
It didn't fit with the audience, and then the ones that come back and the ones that are a part of it and the ones that you'll see consistently with us. Those are the partners that understand what we are doing.
Yep.
And they're not asking us to do anything that's trying to hoodwink anybody. It's just, this is what they are. This is what they do. This is what they sell. Like, that's easy. That's what we do. That's simple.
That's it.
Before we get too long, we've got to get into it. Bet it or bet it.
Can I read one comment real quick?
Absolutely.
April Leslie said, "What you guys are doing for the gambling community is awesome. That's the reason I live you guys so much. LOL." We live you too, April.
You have to be here on Friday to get the joke. That's an inside joke from Friday.
Sticky keys, or that's on purpose? I don't know. Remember the sticky keys from Friday?
We'll bring back the meat. We're not bringing back the sticky keys. The sticky keys, though. We're not bringing those things back.
Keys. What the? You don't even say English.
Keys, whatever words that he was putting together, talking about what he had to do. All right, Houston, number 4 team in the country. They are on the road at Texas tonight, catching 5. I'm not sure where the number has gone here, but I'm taking the home dog. It fits my road loss home dog trend. And I just think Houston's not great on the road. They've lost 2 times in the Big 12 already, and Texas plays almost identical to Houston. Houston wins, Texas covers. Better to book it.
Bet it. You very rarely will have me tell you to book it when you are taking a home dog in college basketball from now until March. Just a little hint ahead of time when you guys are listening to the Juice. And it's the night before, and then you come on here. We appreciate you doing.
Mm-hmm.
If P-Rod has a home dog in college basketball during the week, especially, you can pretty much. I'll be about an 80%er, maybe 90%er. Bet it. Yes,
yeah, I'm
good.
This is the only good college game to watch tonight.
Virginia Tech's not a good game.
No,
the line's only 3.
It's okay. I know. I don't. Vatek plays. Both these games are going to be unders. Both these games are under and boring, unfortunately. But at least it's a chance to watch an in-state rivalry with Texas and Big 12.
The Houston Texas game is 1:30.
Wow, it's good. 132. It was 129 last night, so it ticked up a point.
Or 130.5. I just clicked refresh. So
it's good. It's ticking up.
It's 146 and dropping.
Yeah, both of them are unders. I'm going to take the 8. I know it's a big number, but Boston has lost back-to-back home games.
Wait. You're laying or taking?
Laying.
Oh,
8.
You said taking the 8.
Sorry.
I was like, you're taking a
I'm laying the 8. Sorry. Laying the 8 with the Celtics.
No. Yeah.
24-point loss in back-to-back games for the Pelicans.
Come on.
Celtics are pissed off. They lost by 19 points to the Clippers in their last home game. This is a get-right spot for Boston. Big number, but Boston wins big. Better to book it.
This is I can't. It's only the day after the Super Bowl. I can't do a B-squared play. But why is this line not 10? It should be 10. They're gonna blow this team out. Bet it.
Yeah, I like
Bet
it.
it.
Denver -4 tonight against Milwaukee. This number has not moved, but I think Denver, when they play, Denver's covered 1 time in the last 6 games against Boston on the road. When they play the top teams on the East, I think this is where Denver actually clicks in and goes to work.
Yeah. This is Doc's first game, by the way, coaching. I didn't realize that. Doc is making his debut tonight.
I thought he already made his debut, no? Okay.
No, I just saw it scrolling across ESPN while we were doing the show. I thought he did over the weekend, too. I guess he did not. Right. I don't know. Flip a coin. I'll say bet it. I don't love it. The Celtics is the play.
Okay. Big business or only super chat to be answered here. 11 days till pitchers and catchers report. Ranger fans looking forward to getting back. Going defending that championship that they won last year. Baseball is, it's amazingly enough, baseball is right around the corner. Doesn't
Yes, it
feel
is.
like it really across the country, but here in Vegas, it was 70 yesterday. It's 68 today.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
it's nice right now. And then when everybody comes for the Super Bowl, it's going to
Frigid
be
and cold and wet.
nasty and different things like that. Like everybody came for the F1 and went, I didn't know it got this cold here. But yes, it does. Yeah, we're not out of it yet. It does for us because we're a baseball softball family. This is the rhythm of life for us.
Yeah.
Right after the NFC and AFC championships is when we would start heavy with, we'd have a tournament for St. Valentine's Day.
Yep.
And all that other stuff. And Kylie's texting about, she's going to North Carolina this weekend to play.
Woohoo! Let's go.
Series. So yeah, it feels like it to me. It's still far away from, right?
Baseball? No. I'm starting.
You're starting to get in it now?
The only problem is my team's going to suck again. So if my team was going to be good, then I might actually be even more excited about it.
Well,
but pitchers and catchers were supposed to be like pitchers. I mean, look, we're really close to the unofficial only holiday that is celebrated in Boston called Truck Day. Truck Day is close. Truck Day is close. Truck Day is when all of the spring training gear leaves Fenway and drives. It's a media event. Media covers it.
For real?
Fans hang out outside. It's a big damn day in Boston.
Really?
Truck Day is a big deal in New England. Yeah. When that thing, that's like you guys have Puxsunny Phil and you got Groundhog Day in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You have Truck Day. That's ours. Truck Day is what we celebrate in New England. We know that winter is going to end soon. Red Sox baseball is around the corner. Red Sox baseball will suck again next year.
That's awesome.
It's awesome when the team's good. The team sucks. So it's going to be another really boring summer for the Red Sox, but I'm getting ready for baseball. I'm looking forward to baseball. I accomplished my goal last year of betting for 6 straight months, and I did not lose money.
That's a hell of a grind. We had to work out of a hole and then come back. And then
I bet for 6 straight months. I did not lose money in baseball last year. So that's my goal again.
Didn't go bad. That
probably
10 days you'd have finished up at double digit
5 or 6. Yeah. So that's my goal. My goal is going to be to not lose money again, but betting baseball. That's the goal. But it was fun. It's always fun. I mean, Shohei on the Dodgers will be a lot of fun. I mean, there's going to be some really interesting opportunities to bet again. Teams on the run line, Dodgers on the road. I mean, I don't know. As a trend better,
I didn't know this. This Truck Day thing, they do this with the Cubs. They do this with
I did not know that.
Toronto too. I didn't know that. Okay.
I did not Toronto.
Strange. They never really did it in Pittsburgh. I wonder. I love the Pirates, but I don't know.
So, favorite thing about today is what?
Well, I had on the Orioles hat earlier, and I got the Kansas City jersey on, and somebody said that was the 2014 ALCS, and I didn't even realize that. But it took me back 10 years ago to my favorite thing about today. 10 years ago yesterday was when Kendall was born.
Wow.
And so
I think I said happy birthday to your daughter before you did. She was at my house when 1 a.m. on her birthday.
Right. I was texting. I actually called at midnight.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, there you
Kelsey, because I said, "Have you talked to P-Route yet?" She said, "No." And I said, "Okay, what time did he say?" And she said 12:30. So I was like, "All right, well, happy birthday, Kendall. Hi, Maddie." And they were like, "Goodbye. We're busy."
Oh, were they ever, man? You should see my house when I showed up. Were they ever busy? Bomb went off in this house between the 3 of them. Kendall was like, or Kelsey was like, "I'm really sorry." I was like, "You're watching my daughter. She's alive. We're good. Don't worry about the house."
They had fun.
Yeah, they did.
They stayed up all night.
Literally,
like, I mean, they rolled in here late and
2:30 in the morning.
Yeah. It was a long night. But anyhow, it brought on all these memories of pictures, and Kylie did an unbelievable Snapchat picture message montage for her sister that made everyone in the house cry. It was great. But it reminded me so I went back and I looked and I was like, holy crap. The Super Bowl was Ravens-Niners that year. Like,
weird.
So it was a Monday night, and Pitt played Duke in basketball. They were getting points. Somebody actually posted the score.
Yeah, Duke beat Pitt, right?
Right. Blew them out. Like that. Pitt didn't cover. I remember I was watching it, and then it got away a little in the second half, and I passed out. And Jessica hit me on the shoulder and said, "Baby's coming. We got to go." And my first thing was, looked at the screen, and game was over. And I'm like, "What was the final score of the Pitt game?" And she's like, "I'm having the baby. Let's go."
It was your third one. Your old hat now.
And that's what I was like. I was like, "So what's like right now?" She goes, "Listen, the pains are coming. We got to get," because Kelsey was induced. We went, it was there all afternoon. The third one,
right?
She got that pain. We went to the hospital. We waited a little while, and then boom, the baby shot out. Like it was,
right.
Everything was so
easy.
But it was a Monday night. We went to the hospital. We had her Tuesday morning at 3 or 4 in the morning. And then I took Kylie to school. She stayed up all night, waited to see her little sister. She went to school. Kelsey took the day off.
Nice.
It was Super Bowl week. And I was like, what do I do? There it is, CBW, 80-65. Pitt did not cover. There's no question that Pitt did not cover. I remember that.
Duke
but
had a big second half.
It was Duke did have a big second half. Put me right to sleep.
That's good.
I had Pitt that day. Anyhow, it was Super Bowl week, and I'm in the book. I'm in the book business. And they're like, "Well, you're not taking any days off, are you? It's your third kid." Well, I mean, I could have pulled the move, paternity and use all that
right.
stuff.
Legal.
Yeah, I could have. Instead, we got out of the hospital Wednesday. I took Wednesday off. My days off were Monday, Tuesday. I took Wednesday off, and then I worked the whole week because it was Super Bowl week in Vegas. And it all came around that 10 years ago, my daughter was born. Super Bowl week. I live in Vegas, work in Vegas, and it's the biggest week ever. In 2 weeks, or next week, is Super Bowl week. We're having the game in Las Vegas.
Vegas, right?
I'm having all of these thoughts and all of these things and all of these stories of all working in Vegas and what it was like literally to take $1 million in cash bet multiple times, finish my shift and go home and change diapers. Like it's all coming around and I just can't believe it. So my favorite thing about today is that my youngest daughter turned 10. It's the last one. I can 100% guarantee a bet. I will not be having any more kids. It's done. Kaput. No more title shots. Lock it up. It ain't happening. Okay. But it's really cool to see it now. All like people, I got a text last night. Can you believe the Super Bowl's in your city? And as a kid who grew up in Pittsburgh and lived in Curacao and moved back and then moved to Phoenix and was living in Phoenix, but not while they had a Super Bowl there. And we got to experience it last year. And my sisters and mom live in a Super Bowl, city. We live in Las Vegas now, and there's going to be a Super Bowl here. We got people coming. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I was going to say, my favorite thing about today, I was on the Strip both Thursday night and Saturday night, and it really did hit me that, like, I've never lived in a city like Houston hosted Super Bowls, but when I lived there, they never hosted it.
Right.
That was the only city I had lived in that had a consistent presence with a sporting event like that. When I moved to Houston, it was the year after they did the Final Four with the Butler half-court bank shot that almost went. So I missed that. And then I ended up just driving around and being on the Strip and like looking and being like, they're building so many structures. Like, this is crazy. Like, there is going to be so many big parties here in Vegas that I don't know what the next, I don't know what the week will be like. That's all I got to say, because it's unlike in Arizona and in LA, there wasn't this concentration where everything was going to be right in the same area. The game, the lodging, the parties. Phoenix was spread out. We had the golf tournament. We had downtown. We had Scottsdale. Like, they had all these different things all over the place. LA was the same thing. There were different parts of LA that had different things going on. We are talking about basically like a 3-mile radius where everything's going to be going on outside the teams practicing. The game is on the other side of the Strip. The Mandalay Bay, where the NFL fan experience is one on the Strip.
There. right there.
Excalibur, Luxor, all the media is staying. That's right on the Strip.
Caesar stuff. is all right
Caesars,
there.
all that. Yeah. I mean, Wynn is constructing across the street in front of Resorts World, between the mall and Resorts World. They are constructing a monster. I don't know what it's going to be, but it is a huge venue that they are building, temporary structure to throw this gigantic, huge deal for their parties.
Yep.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm happy that it's here. I'm happy that we know the matchup. And it's really go time. I mean, it's been a 3-year conversation. You and I have been talking about this week for 3 years for what's going to happen.
So that's true too. We talked about this and said, we got 3 West Coast Super Bowls. We got to figure out a way to get to the first one. We did. We had Pat McAfee on and all the boys, and we had Michael Buffer on. We had the list of roster of people that we had was unreal. And it was like, wow, we could do this again. We went to Arizona, same thing. And now we got a home game. I can't say we're going to New Orleans next year because that's where the Super Bowl is. I'm focused on the next 2 weeks. We got to figure out how to stay sharp.
I'm going to say this: New Orleans is in my top 3 for favorite cities in this country. We'll be there.
Okay.
I flipping love New Orleans. I love that city. I would do everything in my power. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, but we're going. I love New Orleans. It's so fun. I'll eat my weight in gumbo jambalaya, Sazeracs, and slow gin fizzes. Won't be sober the whole damn time. I can't wait. It'll be so fun. So yes, mark it down. I told you that 3 years ago. We're going to all 3. We're going to 4. Going to next year's.
Okay.
Thank you for being here, boys and girls. We got a lot of fun coming at you guys all week. We're going to talk to bookmakers and people in Vegas about what's happening in the Super Bowl in Vegas all week long. It's going to be a fun show. Stick with us. Matt, Dave, back tomorrow for BVB.